Barbadians aren't rushing to sell electricity back to the national grid. An event that could help to resolve conflicts between some communities begins this weekend. And in sports, two BFA officials warned in the FIFA bribery scandal.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC Evening News. And our focus tonight is on energy. The Barbados Light and Power Company is tonight reporting that it has put a mechanism in place allowing customers to sell it electricity, but few people are taking advantage of it. The BLNP says it introduced the tariff system last year. Managing Director Peter Williams made the disclosure on the final day of the 3rd Caribbean Renewable Energy Forum at the Hilton Hotel.
That tariff was introduced, as I said, on July the 1st, 2010, so it's not that long ago. For 2 years, we had put limits of 1.6 megawatt for the total installed renewable energy capacity during the pilot. 200 systems was the limit. We had looked at the pricing, and we based it essentially on our avoided costs, and our avoided costs primarily at peak, because peak is when solar certainly would be providing the greatest amount of energy. And so we came up with a tariff that at the moment is 1.8 times our average fuel costs.
Well, Mr. Williams is hopeful that eventually the initiative will take off and Barbadians will reap the potential benefits.
At the moment we have 8 customers who are installed out of the potential 200. So in terms of the pilot, there hasn't been a big take-up. As I said, the system limit size are 5 kilowatt residential, and initially it was 50 kilowatts for the commercial, but we've increased that with the permission of the Commission and by request from customers to 150 kilowatts. Pretty much all the interconnection standards now are universal, and so we don't have to reinvent those.
And the Chief Executive Officer of Williams Industries, Ralph Busy Williams, believes the tariffs are commendable.
It makes it very feasible as well for wind generation to work, but we can't get permission to build wind turbines anymore. So we're working with the government to try to persuade the powers that be to change what they think the regulations should be, because they're none written yet, but to accommodate the installation of wind turbines on the size of land that we have available in Barbados.
And Mr. Williams also believes there's potential for operating photovoltaic systems, noting that a 28 kilowatt project can cost around $140,000 but can provide a 6% return on investment. He also believes that Barbados should examine the feasibility of operating electricity-powered vehicles in the near future.
An electric vehicle with 2 batteries, which you operate on one battery until it starts to run low. You go into the service station, a forklift or some device pulls out the battery, plugs in a new battery, but you always have 2, so that when one is running low, you can switch off over to the other one, go and refill. Those batteries would then be charged by a photovoltaic installation of probably 50 to 100 acres of PV. We would expand that as the demand rises with more electric vehicles.
And former General Manager of the Barbados National Oil Company Limited, Ronald Hewitt, is touting renewable energy as the way forward for the island. But he says there must be a bridge between fossil fuels and renewable energy as a matter of urgency.
What we must do, therefore, is carefully design and build a bridge, should we call it, to take us from fossil fuel into renewable energies in a sustainable, sensible, reliable, and a way that makes the product available, to everybody.
Mr. Hewitt says the BNOC wants to be a leader in renewable energy in Barbados and has taken several steps in this regard. He says the approach of the island in transitioning to renewable energy is vital.
Our approach, therefore, has got to be one which seeks to look at the renewable sources that help us with these major cash outflow. And therefore, we are looking, of course, at solar. The solar story of Barbados is well known, and I'm sure James will elucidate on that some more. Biofuels, wind, biomass, and as like Jamaica said, natural gas, because we recognize that natural gas does contain some of the burning qualities which reduces emissions to the atmosphere.
Well, in the meantime, President of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce, Andy Armstrong, believes there are significant benefits to be derived from wind energy. He says even though there was initial opposition to it in Barbados, the idea should not be abandoned.
We have full social consensus on wind. There is still quite a lot of opposition to wind, often based on non-scientific reasons, and there are all sorts of reasons why some people are uncomfortable with wind. But we still feel that wind, large wind in particular, has to be part of what we're driving to do in Barbados. Because to reach this 29% of our energy coming from renewables by 2029, the goal from the Ministry of Energy is to install 70 megawatts of renewable energy capacity. And it's going to be difficult to install 70 megawatts if we take wind out of the equation.
Minister of Social Care and Constituency Empowerment Steve Blackett says the upcoming David Thompson Memorial Football Classic is a chance to heal fractions in communities across the island. Mr. Blackett was speaking to CBC News during the handing over of tournament trophies from Harris Paints for the tournament, which starts this weekend.
The last few years have seen some fragmentation in our communities, and this tournament really endeavors to foster the kind of togetherness that Barbadians have been grown to be known for, and this will go a far way in fostering those good relations and the coming together once more of communities.
And coordinator of the Football Classic, Hamilton Lashley, says there is a lot of excitement and enthusiasm from the young footballers.
Across the communities in Barbados, everyone is anticipating this tournament. The response on the ground has been tremendous. I mean, the cooperation that you're getting on the ground in the communities is something else. I mean, everyone believes that the tournament that Minister has conceptualized is one that is needed in particularly at this time in the communities.
Well, the film industry could earn the island millions of dollars once the Cultural Industries Act is firmly in place. This is according to Youth Minister Stephen Lashley. He was speaking during the Youth Mainstreaming Program's digital media editing session at the Ministry of Education. He says film production comes with major economic benefits because it is a multi-billion-dollar market, which has put other developing countries on the map, earning them up to US $500 million in foreign exchange.
The whole development and evolution of film in Barbados will do so much for our economy and for our young people. Each time I speak to youthful audiences, I keep appealing to them to not only focus or see themselves within the context of traditional career streams. There's so many evolving and exciting career streams such as video and film that you could do much better than I have done. You will become millionaires. I'm not a millionaire. No minister of government ever is. But you have the opportunity.
And founder of Flying Fish Productions, Inc., Rivelino Simmons, is also supporting a push for more film production in Barbados. He says it only takes a small amount to launch a pilot, but you can earn several times what you have invested. Simmons pointed to the local film Hush as an example.
You do 11 shows a week, 5 in the week, 6 on weekend, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. The cinema is 250 people at $12 a head. Actually, it's more than that, but $12 a head works out nice and even at $250, $3,000. Yeah, 11 shows a week, multiplied out those week. I remember the first Hush. I actually lent them microphones and equipment. I never met them. They heard about me. I lent them equipment. My name was in the credits. Someone said, "You worked on that?" I don't know about it. And I was trying to go in the cinema. I could not get in. And this is the potential, because that happened here in Barbados. All those were youngsters at the time, just coming out of college, coming out of programs like this, and they came together, created this movie. every year since they've created a movie that's touched 1, 2, and 3. No filmmaking in the Caribbean has done that.
Well, the Barbados Red Cross Society's project Saving Lives, Enabling Safe and Healthy Living has borne fruit. Director General Edmund Bradshaw says residents from Charles Road Bridge in St. George and Martins Bay in St. John have been able to mobilize people in those districts to be their own first line of defense in a disaster. He was speaking at a national stakeholders meeting at the Island Inn Hotel to launch the project, Building Safer, More Resilient Communities. Mr. Bradshaw said 4 more communities are to benefit from similar training, though not disclosing which communities. The Director General said the $500,000 program will be extended to include schools in the areas to make students more aware and actively involved in disaster management.
Those who participated last year in better preparing their districts were able to develop community preparedness and response plans, form community disaster response teams, and receive training and donations of tools to work with. The Red Cross Building Safer, More Resilient Communities project in Barbados has helped as well to bring members of the communities even closer together, a characteristic of Barbadian life that has served us well.
And in her presentation, Acting Disaster Manager with IFRC, Nicole Williams, said training is important so communities are not spectators in managing and responding to disasters.
Our strategic objective is to mitigate, but to be able to respond if it all goes wrong. Yeah? And we have 2-pronged approaches, which is for the climate change risk, which is growing, and the traditional natural disaster risk as well. So all Caribbean territories for the Red Cross will be following this strategic objective.